Welcome to the Byzantine Coin Podcast, where we celebrate and discuss all things numismatic from the Byzantine era of the Roman Empire. My name is Kyle Bolin, and this is episode 15. I want to start off by apologizing for how long it's been since my last podcast. The summer always seems to get away from me between schedules changing and vacations and work. I've been running around quite a bit, and it's been difficult to record one of these. So I think it's been almost a month and a half since my last one, and a lot has gone on. So what I want to do today in this episode is talk about some of the shows that I've recently attended and give some reviews on those, as well as review the past Loy auction and some of the recent hammers from that auction, as well as some other coins that have recently hammered as well that I thought were interesting. A few of them we talked about on the last episode, on episode 14. So we'll look at the price action and where they ended up hammering at, and if my predictions were close or not. From there, we're going to review. Heritage has a spotlight auction coming up on August 11th, which is 4 days away, and it's a spotlight on Byzantine coins. So we can go through that and take a look at some of the coins being offered there. It's always an exciting auction. There's spotlight auctions for Byzantine coins. And then I also want to review the CNG auction 593 Byzantine offering. So a lot to unpack and go through. With that, we can get started. So first off, I went down to the fun show on July 10th. I looked at my calendar and I looked at flights, and they were dirt cheap down to Orlando, and was able to figure out a day that I could go down. And I went down the first day. I got up at 4 in the morning, caught a 6 a.m. flight, flew down, was there for roughly the opening of the show, and was able to walk around and see some dealer friends that I like to do business with. There was a pretty good offering of ancient coins there. Nick Economopoulos, Keith Candiotti, Constantine from Vilmar Numismatics, CNG was there. So there was a large group of ancient vendors there, and a good selection of coins to go through. Sarasota Numismatics has got quite a few Byzantines as well, and we talked about that on one of the last episodes. Excuse me. So it was my first fun show. It was pretty cool. The summer show, I'm told, is much slower than the winter show. It's always next to impossible for me to get to the winter show because I'm taking usually a couple days right after that to go down to New York City, and I really just can't get away, 2 weeks in a row like that. So I probably will never go to a winter fun show in the near future, but I made it to a summer one, and like I said, it was cool. There was a lot of good coins there. It ended up being more of a selling event for me. I sold several coins to a couple different dealers, and was excited about the fact that I was able to rebalance some coins to make room for some other coins that have come in that I've recently purchased. But I'm happy to go through and show you some of the pieces that I picked up at Fun. Let's see here. This one is a Heraclius phallus, and it is a counterstamped on a Heraclius phallus from Sicily. And you can see the counterstamp has Heraclius and his son Constantine III, or known as Heraclius Constantine. They love the same names over and over again. And it was minted and counterstamped in Sicily. Now, this has a pedigree on it to Sternberg 13 from 1983, and it's also part of the Dr. Max Blascheg collection that Loy did in an e-sale in the web auction 22, it says. So it's got a great pedigree. We've talked about Dr. Max's collection in the past. This was sold by a dealer. I don't recall the dealer who sold it to me, but all the paperwork from Dr. Max's collection was gone, unfortunately, but it's a really nice coin. And that was one of the first coins that I picked up while I was looking around there. I bought a lot of bronze while I was there. I didn't buy very much from a gold standpoint, but I did sell a lot of gold. One of the things I've noticed is I think some of the dealers who are reliant on the European auctions are really, I think the exchange rate is starting to hurt them a little bit because I think the euro is what, $1.16, the Swiss franc's $1.24, and the pound is $1.36. So there is a lot of premium built in just from the exchange rate for buying these coins from Europe. So I think that some of the gold and some of the pieces that I did end up selling were a little bit more in demand just because I think that supply from Europe is getting harder to get or more expensive to get, put it that way. The next coin that I picked up was this Justinian the First A16 Numi from Thessalonica, and it is really sharp. Now, I found the auction pictures on this from 2013. The pictures do not do it justice. It is really just a spectacular, spectacular coin. Um, I bought that from Nick Economopoulos and got some help from Ed Anderson, who I usually have contact regarding some of the bronze targets that I'm looking at because he's so good with the bronze coinage, bronze Byzantine coinage. Um, so I was really happy with this pickup. It was a really nice coin. It is a really nice coin. It looks spectacular in hand, and I was happy to get it. Third coin I bought. This one I bought from Dr. Keith Candiotti. This is also looks spectacular in hand. I don't think the pictures really do it justice. This is a 40 Numi from Thessalonica, and there's a theta there at the in the exerg um, of on the exerg of the coin that you can just barely make out, and so they guess that this is from Thessalonica, but it's got a really striking portrait of the emperor. The surfaces are great. It's got great detail. So I was really happy with this one. This was part of the Roma auction. Interesting. I think it was an interesting Byzantine coins auction. I can't remember how they phrased it, but so there was some cool stuff that came out of that auction. So I bought that. Was pretty happy with that one. And then the last coin that I purchased at Fun was this one from Vilmar Numismatics, and this was in their, I don't know what this was, showcase or fixed price list that they put out right before the Fun show. And this is a another Hercules phallus that is countermarked, and you have uh, um, a bust of Heraclius in his moniker, and on the reverse, the Sicily SCLS counter stamp, and this is counter stamped on, I believe, host coin. Yeah, it says host coin 40 Numi of Justinian the First. Um, this is also ex Sanborn collection. Justice Sanborn um, was a lawyer and judge who had a famous coin collection that it was auctioned off by Sotheby Park and Bennett in 1977. This was lot 437. It was part of the lot. It also had an old tag on it that said an acquisition at Habelt in 1956. Habelt was a numismatic firm based in Bonn, Germany. What's interesting is that Justice Sanborn sat on the International Remuneration Committee in Germany for repatriating property back to people stolen by the Nazis. So he was over there at that time and picked this coin up while he was there. So I love the provenance on it. I love the counter stamp. It's got a really kind of cool story to it. Um, I don't know if it was worth what I paid for it, but it's I don't know. I like a coin with a good story, and I think this has a lot of different good stories to it. Um, and it's got a nice style to it. It's got a nice look. So I was really happy with that pickup as well. Um, as I said, I didn't pick up much gold at the fun show, and really, um, I walked around. I talked to some of the U.S. dealers as well. I had a couple of U.S. things that I was sort of shopping around too, and but overall, it was a really cool show. I'm glad I went down. I did the whole show in one day, and jumped in an Uber back to the airport and took a flight back and did it all in one day. So it was a long day, but I was glad I was able to do it and go down there. Sort of itching for a show. It was my first show that I had done since the New York International. And I like the shows. I like the conversations and the networking and seeing coins that I could never afford. And overall just learning and being immersed in the business. I find it fascinating. So I will definitely try to go to another fun show. I is like I said, it was a very inexpensive show for me to travel to. So it was really cool. After that, I went to, let's see, 2 weeks later, July 24th, there was the Bay State show in Massachusetts. And this is a big state show in Massachusetts. Mostly U.S. dealers, but there is always a good ancient presence. Most of them were all at Fun, so I saw most of them at Fun 2 weeks before. But it's very close to my house. It's about a 20-minute drive, which is awesome. And so I drove over for that for the day, and spent some time again with the ancient dealers there, Nick Economopoulos, Dr. Keith Candiotti. Derek Warden was there at this one, and I did end up buying. I bought a fair amount of coins from Derek, mostly gold. And I was really pumped about the coins when I bought them. And then I got home and I started to look at some things and do some stuff, and I started to have some serious buyer's remorse. And which sometimes happens after a show, right? You're all fired up and you want to buy something, then you look and you're like, "Ooh, I overpaid for that," or "I shouldn't have bought that," or yeah. So I had some remorse on the things that I bought. I looked to see if I could find some good pictures. One of the things I'm struggling with my collection is being able to take good auction pictures, and I just can't do it with my iPhone. Now, bronze, of course, photographs pretty well. Gold, I struggle with my iPhone, and then when you go to zoom in on it, the details just get fuzzy. So I really need to. I've been exploring, looking for a photography setup where I can take proper auction shots of my coins, but I haven't gotten there yet. So sometimes I look to see if they've been sold by other companies or what the provenance is, and sometimes you can find some good shots. But I can't find any of the gold that I purchased while I was there. Since I've given it some time to settle, I've really thought about some of the coins that I purchased. Some of them are great. Others I think were like okay purchases. But I'm not disappointed with them anymore, I guess. It's sort of it's sort of how I guess everybody reacts to these things. They're excited, they're not excited, and then they sort of even out someplace in the middle, right? But I got some cool coins there, and it was a great show. And the nice thing is it didn't require an expensive day of travel. It was just literally a 25-minute drive, which was really cool, and it was good to see everybody again too. So that was my second show that I did in as many weeks. I have the ANA is coming up, and I do plan to attend that for I think 2 days. I'm gonna make the trip to Oklahoma and go out and see what's out there and socialize and see what kind of cool Byzantine coins I can find in a sea of United States numismatics. But the ANA is always great, always draws a lot of people. I did see a note that Nomos was going to be there and they were going to be bringing some stuff. So I'm excited about that because they always have shockingly cool and unaffordable Byzantine coins that are great to look at. And, maybe if you can pull the funds together, pick one up. and CNG will be there, and all the other larger ancient dealers. I did see Perry from Heraclius Numismatics at Fun, and he said that he wasn't going to be there because he had a personal conflict. So that'll be one that we'll be missing. But looking forward to going to the ANA. It's always great. I hope Oklahoma City doesn't dampen the attendance, but I think it's going to be worth the time. So excited to go. If you happen to be going, or you have a table, or you want me to stop by, just let me know. I'd love to connect. I'll be walking around for 2 days. So looking forward to that. So let's look at Lloyd numismatics. And I apologize. Last episode, I set these things up as best I can with some structure is how I want to talk. But typically, I just turn on the record button and I just talk. It's a sort of a stream of consciousness. So there's no way of me to sort of check some of the things that I'm saying as I'm saying them. And I kept pronouncing loy numismatic as low because it looks like low to me, but it's loy. So I apologize for that. And then I was going through some of the episodes and I was misrepresenting emperors' names or getting them confused as I went through. So bear with me on some of this stuff. And if there's any kind of things that I'm doing wrong or saying wrong, please feel free to contact me and let me know. So the Loy auction had an extremely large Byzantine offering, as we said, I think well over 500 coins, a lot of Constance the seconds, a lot of Heracliuses, a fair amount of Constantine the Fourth. It was clearly a hoard of some sort. And one of the things I had said was I thought it was probably a good way if you were looking to pick up one of those, you could get a mid-range version and it probably would be close to melt. I was wrong. All the coins sold well over melt, typically in the same range. I think some of them sold at a decent hammer, others hammered pretty high. And so there's a sprinkling of coins that I want to take a look at here rather than go through all 500 and see how they did here. The first one, let's see, where is it? I had it queued up. So this is a Justin II lightweight solidus of 22 silica. Um, in the description, it says somewhat clipped at 3.86 grams. It is light. It is light for a lightweight solidus. Um, Otherwise good, very fine. Now let's look at it. I mean, it's got a weak strike. It's got a really nice sort of exergal marking on there that's full. And the strike, I mean, it's a full strike, but it's just weak. And it's got some wear on it and stuff. This hammered for 1,700 Swiss francs. So all in with the exchange rate and your fees, you're probably looking at 2,550 to $2,600. That is way too much money for this. I mean, way too much. I don't know. I mean, you can get these for like seven or $800 in this condition. Um, so, so I guess two people really wanted it. Um, but yeah, that's if you're the consigner, you are fired up for that price because you could literally buy you could literally buy two of these coins for that price. So, um, we'll keep moving here. I don't want to keep kicking them uh, the high price here, but that's an astounding price. Anyway, we'll move forward. This Tiberius the second, this was really nice. It has a nice portrait, nice centering. This hammered at 830 Swiss francs, all in about 1,200 and $1,250 probably. I think that's a good price. I think this is a nice example. Um, uh, yeah. So I think whoever got that at a decent price. The next one, I really like this one. This was a Maurice Tiberius of the Rome Mint, and you can tell that this P here is the Greek letter rho for Rome. It has a distinct style to it, which is interesting. This went for strong money at 3,800 Swiss francs. Again, that's a very strong price, great price for the consigner. I mean, 3,800. So I mean, I typically when I'm looking at Swiss francs on these, I typically with the buyer's premium and the exchange rate, and then the fees associated with getting here, I use a 50% uh, above hammer as sort of a guideline. So you're looking at what is that, 4,900 dollars roughly on this. Is that right? Yeah. Anyway, I can't do math on the fly, but it's a lot of money for this coin for sure, and that's a strong price. Um, this focus I thought was nice. We talked about this one, 550 on this. It wasn't in the greatest of shape, but it was an interesting portrait. They called it a sad portrait or a tired looking portrait. 550 I think was a good price on that. This one is the Revolt of the Heraclii. Follis. This hammered in, let's see, this is a Loy Web Auction 31 from 2024. In that auction, it sold for 9,000 Swiss francs, which is stupid money. I don't know if somebody left a really high proxy bid and then that proxy bid got bid up to the end. I don't know. But then it came right back. I mean, that was September 8th, 2024, and now it's in a let's see, a July 2025 auction and it hammered for 5,000 Swiss francs. So that's a 4,000 Swiss franc loss. And it's in right after the auction. So that tells me either somebody bought it and didn't want it and immediately reconsigned it, or somebody bought it and didn't pay for it, or the auction house bought it and relisted it. But regardless, it goes to show you auctions are not perfect markets. They can be very manipulated. It really depends on who's showing up to those auctions. If you bought this at 9,000 and then just got 5,000 back on it. I mean, that's a huge loss, huge loss. So, and frankly, I mean, oh, these are rare with the Cypress revolt follises, and had been expertly cleaned and everything. But I wouldn't pay even remotely close to 5,000 for this. Now, I'm not a, I do like bronzes, but I'm not, you know, I don't know. I just feel like uh, for this, you can get way better coins for that kind of money, in my opinion. So, but hey, if you needed this one and you really wanted it and you had the money, great. Congratulations, you got it. And it was 4,000 francs cheaper, which is crazy. I really like this one. I did toy with bidding on this. This is the Heraclius of the unusual style. It went for 1,200 Swiss francs. You do the math on that after all said and done, and you're close to like $1,800 on this. I mean, it's nice. I don't know if it's $1,800 nice, but it is just a different style. It's got some strange officina markings on it. So yeah, I don't I think that price is actually somewhat fair for it, but just more than I would pay for it, if that makes sense. But it's an interesting coin. I mean, the exchange rate really does kill you if you're an American buyer right now. So I mean, it limits your buying power significantly. Let's keep going through this list. This is a Leo the Third with Constantine the Fifth. So this is a Solidus from an uncertain Italian mint. As I said, there's an N there. I think that would suggest it was from Naples. But certainly doesn't mean it is from Naples. But Naples had uh, a very rare body of coin production over the course of time that they were part of the Byzantine Empire, the Roman Empire. Um, so it's interesting. This is a rare coin. It sold for 1,900 Swiss francs. There's like zero eye appeal to it, but again, this is a rare coin at that's just under $3,000 for this coin. So I think that's sort of about right. We looked at a lot of these other ones here. I really like this one. I did bid on this one. I lost. This is a nice version of Isaac Komnenos. Well struck. I would put this at like an AU with a strike of 5 if we're using NGC's grading standards. It's always tough to kind of determine surfaces from a picture, but the surfaces look pretty good on this as well. This went for a strong price at 1,600 Swiss francs, so that's about $2,400 all in. This is from the Joseph Markowitz collection. I looked him up. He had a fascinating story. He was um, something to do with music in Czechoslovakia, and hid his coins in his house during World War II, and he was arrested during the Holocaust. Survived and then went back to the rubble of where his house was and was able to find his collection. Now, I don't know if this was part of the collection that got buried or a part that he acquired after the war as he continued his collecting journey. But it's an interesting story from an interesting collection and an interesting guy. It's always to me it's always fascinating when they put whose collection it's from and they give you the dates of their life because you're able to do a little sleuthing on the internet to find out about these people. And a lot of times you look at what they went through or how interesting their life was, and you wish that you could go back and have a beer and talk coins with them, or something along those lines, because they're probably just as interested in coins as I am or as you are, right? So it's fascinating stuff. I like that kind of thing. I like the provenance on coins, and I like learning about the people who used to own them before. This coin, like I said, I did bid on, did not win it, but this this I think went for, I think that's a fair price. I also like this one. I didn't bid on this, but in retrospect, I probably should have at 300 Swiss francs. I think that's probably a pretty good deal. I mean, nobody likes their coins pierced, and you can sometimes get coins on the cheap because of that. And again, it's just it's part of the coin's journey, right? At some point, somebody wore this around their neck for whatever reason, and that's interesting. They went through the process of piercing it and probably having it on a rope or a chain. So it's again, an easy way to get, I think, sometimes nice coins. I mean, looking at this coin right here, yeah, it's not the best, right? I mean, it's a little choppy, right? But it's 300 Swiss francs. I mean, when all of a sudden it's $450. I mean, this is 3.8 grams of gold, probably I don't know what at this point it was. It was probably like 75% gold, but you're not paying much more over melt on this. Maybe a little premium, but not much. Um, so it's sometimes when you see these coins with piercings in it, it's a good excuse to pick something up cheap. So overall, I thought the results from the Loy auction, the mega auction, because they had a lot of coins, a lot of Byzantine coins. I thought they were pretty fair. Some of them were abnormally strong, but we didn't really go into all the constants to seconds that were sold, but they all sold, a couple $100 over melt, which which is good to see. I thought you were going to be able to get some sort of deal on some of these. Let's move on to some other coins that have recently hammered. This was from a Naumann auction. This is a Constantine IV Solidus from Carthage, dated indicational year 10. You have his siblings, Heraclius and Tiberius, I think. I could be wrong. Off the reverse of the coin on either side of the cross because they had at this point been deposed and Constantine the Fourth had taken sole power. I don't know. This is a really nice. I thought this was really nice. I thought it's a full strike, a really nice style for the type. I was interested in this, but I couldn't compete with some. I mean, this realized 3750 euro. And so, you know, tack on 20% plus another 16% plus fees. It's probably, let's say, 40% over that in dollars. So that's a lot of money for this coin, but it's a really a nice coin for sure, and it's rare. Most of Constantine the Fourth solidi from Carthage are rare, and most are not nearly nice from a style perspective. This was a Justinian II Semesis. This was also a nomen. This is a nice full legends on the obverse and almost full legends on the reverse Semesis. The portrait is, it's a little weak, but the whole portrait's there. Everything's there. It's really nice. This went for 1,800 euros. I thought that this was a pretty good deal. I could see this going up for more, and Semesis don't usually come on the market that often either. So you get two people who need a nice Semesis of this type, they could really go after it and bid it up. So like I said, 1,800 euro and put another 40% on that. I think that's a pretty good buy, given the type. This is also a Naumann. This was a Constantine the Ninth Military son from Constantinople, and it's just of exquisite style. Um, you know, Certainly not the best condition, but style-wise, I mean, it's gorgeous. It's a beautiful silver coin. This realized 675 euros. I know there was a lot of interest in this. And I'm starting to get more into these types of coins. And sometimes they can be gotten fairly inexpensively, and other times they get bid right way up. So, just I guess pick your moments on these. But what a gorgeous coin and a gorgeous style that they came out with at this time for the silver. Let's see. This was in the Goldberg auction. This was a Justinian the First Solidus, and they say mint of Constantinople, 4.47 grams. Sorry. This has, let's see, a strike of five, surface of two with an edge bend. Um, I think this is a nice coin. I mean, I mean, there's a big hit on the edge there. But I don't think that this is Constantinople. I think that this aligns more with the body of coinage coming out of Sicily. Well, first of all, they had these types cataloged to Ravenna, and some of them had six pointed stars, others had eight pointed stars here in the field on the reverse. But most of them had a very tiny officina letter, like you'd see a tiny E or a tiny Z. Here you see a normal sized E and an 8 point star. But the style of the bust and then the style of winged victory is consistent with those that were originally assigned to Ravenna and then subsequently have been reassigned to Sicily. So I think that this is probably a Sicilian or Ravenna type that NGC either missed or didn't feel like there was enough evidence to justify putting it as a provincial mint. But everything about it to me looks like it is definitely Sicily. So I don't know that that does anything really to the value. It makes it a little bit more interesting, maybe, but value-wise, this went for $925. If you were looking at this as a just a plain old Constantinople issue of Justinian the First. I think that's a pretty good price for this, given the some of the quality issues here with the surfaces and stuff like that. But so maybe that was sort of figured in, but yeah, I think that it probably would have hammered for roughly the same if they had it at the Sicily Mint like I do. Yeah, I don't think it would have made much of a difference for the pricing, but it's something that I noticed. So I'd be curious if you're familiar with these types, if you think the same thing that I do. NGC did not, so but it's an interesting coin for sure. This is another one from the Goldberg auction. This is Constantine the Seventh and his son Romanus the Second. This is a gold solid as 4.46 grams. They gave this extra fine, strike 4-5, surface 3-5, die shift. Um, you can see the die shift on the reverse of this coin in Constantine the Seventh's portrait, I think. Yeah, there's some doubling there, not much, but a little bit. Uh, Enough that they called it out, which I think was sort of nitpicky, to be honest. But I love this coin. I love the style of it. I love the toning on it. I mean, it's clear it's from an old collection. This gold is very, very toned. That portrait of Christ is outstanding. Um, and I bid on this, and I was the underbidder. I did not win it, but I think 1250 is still a pretty fair price for this. So whoever won this, congratulations, and I think you got a great coin. And personally, I would pull it out of that holder myself, but that's me. Um, would not be surprised if this has some sort of pedigree going back to something, but I don't know what it would be at this point. I gave up on it once I lost it, so and moved on. But whoever won it, great coin. This is another one from the Goldberg auction. This is a Maurice Tiberius Gold Solidus of Carthage. This is indicational year one, and you can see that by the A on the end of the legend on the obverse and reverse. This is a nice shape. These usually command a pretty strong price, and this one I think got a pretty strong price at $1,850. Um, they had an estimate of 1,600 on it. So yeah, I think that this is fair for both consignor and for buyer, but it's a nice example, and these coins are rare. Did I skip? Yeah. Okay. This is from the Nomos web auction that recently kicked off. Um, it was a Leo the Third Solidus, 4.42 grams. There's a lot of weakness here on, let's say, between 5 and 9 on the obverse, and between 11 and 1 on the reverse. And that weakness certainly does detract from the coin. This realized 850 Swiss francs, so uh, 1125, 1150 US dollars on this. Not a bad price on this. I mean, yeah, you got the weakness, but look at that portrait. That portrait is outstanding. It's a really sublime imperial portrait of the face. It's unfortunate that the coin has those weak spots on it, but it's a really nice portrait of Leo that you can get for $1,100. I think and it's full weight. I think that's a pretty good buy. So nice coin and a nice purchase for the bidder, for the winning bidder. This was a Constantine the Fourth from the Nauman auction. This is let's see, this is with his brothers Heraclius and Tiberius. Okay, so on either side. Um, and they called this Mint State, and I would agree with them. It's a nice coin. This coin had some hidden provenance on it, and it was one that was sort of on my target list. But I think given the fact that they called it out Mint State, and there was some people interested in it, it got bid up higher than I was willing to pay for. I've got a fair amount of these already, so I don't really need another one. The provenance on it, it goes back to the Peter Donald collection from I think 1990, maybe, or 1994. Let me see if I have that. Uh, I'll tell you right now. 1995. Yeah, Peter Donald collection. And it also goes back, I found it in the Vecchi Bonham's uh, auction from 1980, which was another famous Byzantine late Roman auction. So it's got some great pedigree to some great collections from famous Byzantine collections. Um, Again, at 1600 euros, I think that's fully baked even with the pedigree. So I mean, once it's all said and done, you're probably looking at $2,300 total for this, which again, that's a strong price, but some hidden provenance there and a really kind of cool, it's a really cool coin. Nice portrait for the type. We talked about this one in episode 14. This is a Maurice Tiberius consular issue. It's a really nice one. It's 4.27 grams. They had an estimate of 4,000 euros. I thought it was going to go to like 5,000 euros. It only went for $3,000, 3,000 euro, which if once you do the math on it, that's about $4,200. So, it's sort of where it should be, but it's under the estimate. I think somebody got this for a good price. Um, and I was way off in what I thought it would fetch. And I'm gonna say the same thing on this one. I was way off on what I thought this would fetch. I thought this was gonna be like 4,000 euro, and it went for 2,400 euro. This is a Leo the sixth Solidus, the Wise, and where he's standing with his son Constantine the seventh. Um, and these are pretty rare coins. I think 2,400 euro is a good price for this. I thought it would go much higher. This is another one. I thought this was this Nicephorus Focus, Nicephorus second Focus, Military Sun from Constantinople is really nice. They had €1,000 estimate on this, and it went for 420 euros. I thought this was going to go a lot higher. This, I think, somebody got for a good price too. So, um, yeah. So all my predictions on the stuff from the wreck sale, including this other one here, the Adokia and Michael the Seventh and Constantius Histamemnon, they all went for way under their estimates and way under what I thought they would bring. This one went for 1,200 euros. That's a steal for this coin. 1,200 euros, even with it all sort of baked in at 1,750 or $1,800 all in. I think that's a very good deal for this coin. I mean, it's not mint, but it's got a really nice strike on it, and it's all there. So I think somebody got that cheap. So buyers didn't show up for this most recent rec sale. I mean, it still got 1,200 euros. It's not like, nobody showed up, but I just expected that the prices were going to be higher on most of this stuff, and they just weren't. I don't know why. But some deals were there to be had. Moving on. So Heritage has their spotlight auction on Byzantine coins coming up on August 11th. That is 4 days from now. So very soon. Um, let's take a look. We won't go through all the items, but it's going to go through the ones that sort of catch my eye here. There's a couple nice Anastasius solid eye, and they're sort of all trending in the right direction. I mean, that's got some scratches on it. That one's got graffiti all over it. That one's not the nicest either, but they're all sort of, 575, 600, 600 with 4 days left. So my guess is they'll all probably go in the nine to $1,200 range, probably closer to nine on those. Um, Continue through here. Um, Yeah, I don't want to talk about that one. Let's keep going. Let's see the next page. Yeah. So this Justinian the First, let's see. This is a nice example. And given the obverse winged victory, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this has some sort of provincial mint attached to it as well, but they don't really say that here. Um, it's just 4.48 grams. It straight graded with no details things on it, so it's 50545 AU. Um, yeah, uh, looks looks pretty nice. This is the nicest one that they had on there. It's right now it's at $900. I mean, it could go if it's at 900 now and there's a couple of interested parties, I could see it going doubling from there, maybe even going into the $2,000 range. Here's this is I mean this is a tooled Justinian the Great 40 Numi. Let's see, the original year is 17 on it. And it has evidence of tooling, so they wouldn't encapsulate it. So they're selling it anyway, but they say sold as is, no returns. So if you buy this, you can't return it um, based on the fact that there is some evidence of tooling and they will not encapsulate it. I thought that was interesting. I mean, it looks decent. I mean, maybe you can get it cheap and it doesn't matter, but at any rate, I'll keep going through here. This is a Justin the second. I don't think I want to talk about that one. Let's see, 460 or 10. I'm just trying to go through and find the most interesting stuff to highlight here. There's a lot of coins in this. So there's a lot to pick from for just about any collector. This is interesting. They have this as Antioch based on the style. I don't know that it's Antioch. I mean, I think with the coinage of Maurice, nobody really knows much. I mean, it's just based on hoard finds and some scholarly work like that. This is definitely provincial given the style. I don't know specifically where it would fall in the corpus of his coins, but I don't think Antioch is right. Maybe it is. I mean, what do I know? But it's just got an interesting style to it that's different than most coins of his type. And that is at $410 right now. Let's see. Skip most of these. Yeah, that's not bad. Like, there's a couple Heraclius and Constantine the Thirds where he's got his crazy beard going. But they're all sort of problem coins. They all have like problems to it, or there's something missing, or something done to it. Um, Nothing here is really jumping out. This one, let's see, where is it? It's not here. Yeah, this one. This is a Constance the Second lightweight Solidus with BOGK in the exerg. It is a Solidus of, they're saying lightweight Solidus of 23 silica. I don't know if it's 23 or 22, but um, it's a really nice one. It's got full legends, nice surfaces. They have it in the right holder. Had a 5 of 5, surface 3 of 5 brushed. Um, but man, I mean, it's really it's it's commanding a bid, which surprises me, and it surprised me in the Loy auction as well when that lightweight Solidus of Justin II got commanded a bid as well. This is already at 1450. I mean, that's way too high for this coin. I mean, it's nice. I mean, it's nice. Don't get me wrong. It is nice. But I mean, I have one that. Granted, it's not in a mint state holder. I think it's in an extra fine holder. Not quite as nice that I think I paid 500 bucks for. Um, so we'll see where this goes. I think that this is fully baked at 1450, but we'll see when this goes live if it gets bid up any further. Because I mean, it is nice, but I don't know. I don't think it's worth that much. This Constantine the Fourth from Syracuse is extra fine 4.5, 2.5 with graffiti. It's not in the best of shape, but these are typically very rare. They command a premium over the Constantinople pieces. I think this is a good chance to get into one inexpensively on this, depending on how the auction goes. I mean, right now it's at $410. So, I think you can get this under 1,000. Let's put it that way. And these, if they're a little bit nicer, would be 1,500 to $3,000. So we'll see what happens on it. Here's a choice mint state, Constantine the Fourth. Tough to tell from Heritage's photo vision or NGC's photo vision pictures how nice it is, but choice mint state ones are commanding premiums. It's already at $1,000. We'll see where that goes. Here's a nice Justinian the first reign portrait of Christ. It's sort of got a very interesting and unique Christ portrait, full legends on the reverse. The obverse is missing. The mint market's at 4.46 grams. Mint state 4 of 5, 2 of 5 brushed with marks. Um, it's already at $2,600. I mean, I think this is going to go for 35 to $4,000, even in with the details grading on the slab. I think this is a really interesting portrait of Christ. Is there any others that I liked? I like this Constantine the Sixth and Irene. It's at 1050. It's in a holder with an edge filing on it and 4 of 5, surface 3 of 5, choice AU. Um, I just like it. I like the strike and the style on it. Looking at it, it's got a nice strike of Irene. It's a little weakness in the crown between 12 and let's say 1. But then it's got a really nice strike and portrait of Constantine the Sixth on the, I guess that would be obverse, but they have it wrong. I'm assuming Constantine the Sixth would be considered prime still at this point, but maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, it's a nice example. It's at 1050 right now. I'm going to watch this one. We'll see if it gets ignored or if it doesn't catch it much more of a bid. I may throw a bid on it just because I like the way it looks. You know, and I think you could do a lot worse. Let's see. This is a nice one too. I've been in the market for one of these for a while. I haven't been able to find it. This is extra fine for sure. There's some weakness on the portrait, but this is brushed graffiti, and they give it a surface of 2. It's at 775. I'll be watching this one as well. It'd be nice just to get it as a filler until I get a nicer one. Let's see. Constantine the Ninth he's got a bit of already 1,050 on that one, and that's AU 5 of 5, 4 of 5, and it's got a little edge split in the flan. But it's nice example, nice strike. And this one is less nice, and the bid is almost half of the last one, which is funny, even though this isn't a choice AU. Well, is it the same slab? Let's see. Oh, okay. It's just in a choice AU slab, but there's no grading surface and strike grade on it because it's the cheaper option when you're slabbing your coins. You can slab them cheaper and not have the strike and surface grade attached to it. think that was basically it that I saw in this that I wanted to cover. Um, yeah, that one's not really doing much for me. So let's move on from heritage to CNG, and we can take a look at some of the offerings CNG has. Their e-auction is coming up, and they've got a lot of nice bronzes. Some of them from Mike Gasvoda's collection. He is the principal and owner of CNG. Um, a lot of them came from Loy sales, but some of them had some nice pedigree to it. Let's start off with this Phallus. This is a Justinian the First 40 Numi Phallus from Nicomedia. It's really nice. Um, it's all there. Good surfaces. This is from the Gasvoda collection, purchased from Ed Waddell, um, and in Classical Numismatic Auction 6, March 1989. So I find that finding any kind of bronze with any kind of real pedigree is always problematic. It's tough to find them, or if they do have pedigree, they're part of a bigger group lot. There's no pictures of them. So if they have pedigree like this, I think that adds a layer. I mean, pedigree always adds a layer of awesomeness to a coin, in my opinion. But I think more so for bronzes, just because, if you look back at the old catalogs, very few of them were plated. You know, unless they were like really lights out nice. So the fact that this has got a pedigree to 1989 is some frosting on the cake of this coin. It's a really nice example. It's already at 250. I think this probably goes for $500, maybe a little bit more. Let's see. This is a Justinian decanumium, 16 millimeters, 2.35 grams. This is from Antioch. They say well struck with a complete reverse legend. This is a nice, I don't know, I think this is nice for the type. Has a nice style and a good strike to it. These are small coins, but I think, and they even say for the type, it's pretty nice. Not sure where this is going to go. It's at $60 right now. Maybe 100, 150. But just for the type, it's something I think pretty nice. This Justinian Romant phallus is of fine style. Apparently, they had again talking to Eddie Anderson. Uh, he kind of informed me about the fine style types of these versus the more clunky style. Um, any of them that say Roma are in demand. These fine styles are very rare. This is ex-Gasvoda collection, ex-Johnson family collection. And this was also purchased from Ed Waddell in 1981. And if you look at it, I can see that. I mean, you look at the portrait on it, it's even in its very worn state, you can make out the fine details of the portrait on it. And the Roma and the exerg of the reverse. So this is a really nice coin. I think that we'll see where this goes. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know these that well, but I think that it's going to go much higher, given the fact that there's a lot of interest in it. So, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Let's see. Skip some of these. Hmm. There's a number of, like I said, really nice bronzes in this auction. Um, I'm not going to go through them all just from a time sake here. Uh, there was a couple others. This one I found interesting. So this is a Heraclius 12 Numi from the Alexandria Mint. This is ex-Gazavoda collection as well, and Italio Vecchi from a Roma e-sale in 2020. So a famous numismatist. I believe that the theory is that these were struck under the Sasanian occupation of Egypt. And yeah, so I don't know if you would consider them part of the Byzantine corpus, but it is very nice. And I think it's got an interesting story to tell, and a nice portrait on it as well. So see where that one goes. This is a lightweight solidus of Constance II with a star in the field and a plus at the end of Conab. It's not the greatest of shape, but with the toning, it gives it some real character, in my opinion. This is at $425 from a private English collection, so that's nothing. That's a nothing provenance, but yeah, I mean it's already at $425. I think that this will go probably. Probably could. I wouldn't be surprised if this doubles. I mean, given the strength of some of the other lightweight solid eye that I've seen lately. Um, let's see. I'm starting to lose my voice, so I'm just gonna cut some of this short. I'm not gonna bother with that one. There's a couple nice Alexius Komnenos. This is a Tatartaron. This is also ex-Voda collection, and it's got a nice look to it. It's not perfect, but decent. It's at $120 right now. And then there's another one. This is a pre-reformed Tartaron. Again, Guess Voda collection. This was ex-Roma as well. And it's got a nice look to it. It's a soft strike, but not bad. That's at $180 already. So I'm not sure where it'll go. I know it's rare. And let's see. There's one other that I wanted to highlight here that I'm thinking about. I think it's here someplace. Yeah. This John the Second Komnenos Hyperpyron from the Thessalonica Mint. This is ex-Voda collection as well, and also ex-Loy. Nice portraits on this, and overall a decent coin. It's at $375 at an estimate of 400. I don't know where I wouldn't be surprised if this is like 750 when it's all said and done, 675, 750. I don't know, in that range. But I like it. I don't have a John the Second, so if it's cheap enough, maybe I'll jump on it. Um, but nice portraits on that for sure of both John and what is it? Let's see. Yeah, Theotokos, the Virgin Mary, and the hand of God above, which is kind of cool. The crowning hand of God. Um, so yeah, there's a great e-sale at CNG with a lot for everybody, a lot of good bronze, some gold there, and then the Heritage Spotlight sale always commands premium hammers. Wouldn't be surprised if they get it this time, especially with the weakness in the dollar. Anybody from Europe is sort of on a level playing field with the U.S. because Europeans have to pay VAT on all their coins, which is a significant upcharge for them, whereas we don't in the United States. So some cool auctions happening. The first of the big fall auctions dropped recently with Gattari from Monaco. They have a great Byzantine selection. In fact, I think the next podcast I do, I'll probably go through that because there's some really rare and amazing coins in that. And I'm looking forward to the other fall sales starting to drop. I know CNG's got a good offering in their upcoming feature, and there are always going to be some nice coins that come up in the fall that I wish I had saved some money in the summertime to go and buy. So we'll see what happens. If you are at the ANA, let me know if you're going to be there. I'd love to meet up with you for a drink or dinner, or both. I'm there for 2 days. I'm looking forward to meeting old friends and making some new ones, and hopefully finding some good Byzantine coins. Again, thanks for listening. Sorry for the delay in getting this out. but I appreciate all the feedback that I get, and I love doing these. So looking forward to episode 16. I probably will try to get that out before the ANA, but if not, we'll do probably one on the ANA as well, and my experience there. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you at the next podcast. Take care.